All right, good morning. Welcome to the 2023 annual membership meeting. Smooth as silk. I'm just going to go over the agenda real quick, and then you can hit the gavel, right? So just some rules of engagement agenda. So I want to call the meeting to order. We'll do an invocation. Ellen and the board will have some comments. Brief comments. We're on a time limit here, so we can get people out to vote. I'll give a park update. We have Larry Finkbeiner and Dave from the golf course. They'll give a quick update. We'll have member comments for the members out in the audience here. I do have some write-in comments as well. July, we missed the writing comments for the face-to-face because we did a town hall for the golf course proposals. So we've got some that are coming from July. And then we'll do an adjournment and kind of get you on your way for a beautiful day here, okay? So, Ellen, I'll turn it over to you.
I want to call this meeting, the annual membership meeting, to order. We'll be hearing from about the park and about the golf course. Jeff, could you give us the invocation?
Absolutely. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time today. Thank you for blessing us with a beautiful sunny day, sunny weekend. Thank you for this blessing of Sandy Pines and our golf course. We thank you for all that you continue to do for us. Please continue to give us strength, wisdom, and guidance as we, as a board, staff, and members, try to do the best thing for this park to make it sustainable for many years to come and generations to come. We just thank you for all that you do. All things are done and possible through your grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I want to welcome all of you here. It's good to see another great crowd. We had a good crowd last night at the board meeting. It's nice to have people come out and learn about the park and be able to ask some questions and make some comments. As your chair, I'm very grateful to be able to help run the park as much as I can. And I'm also very grateful to those members who have shown kindness and civility during some of these more controversial topics. I really appreciate all the people who have come up and thanked us and gave us kind words. I also want to thank our staff. We have an amazing staff, and I consider them our brand ambassadors because they not only are the face of the park to the members, but also to the public. New people coming in, campers. You guys do an amazing job. And I have to say, I think this is the best year ever at Sandy Pines, but I'm looking forward to next year because I think it's going to be even better.
All right, I too think this was one of the best years that I've had since I've been here, and I attribute that really to our staff. They have done an amazing job, and the testament is I've received half the normal emails that I normally get during a year with concerns. And it's all because of them, truly. I'd like to thank the board members that I serve with, and especially the two gentlemen who are up for election. Hopefully you voted for them again. And especially the young lady down to my left. She's done an amazing job, not only as on the board, but in the finance committee. She's truly going to be missed. And with that, I hope if you haven't voted, you go out and vote after this and help us support us and the golf committee with the resolution that we have on the board. Thank you very much.
I'm Stephanie, like the sign says. I too want to thank the staff. I also want to shout out to our committees that are comprised of members who put in a lot of time each week or every other week, putting forth proposals for the board to look at. It would be almost impossible for us once a month to digest everything without our committees. So thank you to everyone that volunteers their time for that.
I also want to say thank you to everybody that's here today. It's good to see everybody show up, that you care about our park. We care about our park. And I want to thank you for the time that you gave me on the board and trusted me to make decisions on your behalf. And I just feel very blessed to have had this opportunity. I have to be honest, I kind of came into it kicking and screaming. I did not want to do it. But it turned out to be a great opportunity, and I'm very grateful. And I also want to thank our staff. I think we have a beautiful park. We have great amenities here, and it's only going to get greater.
Good morning. I echo the thoughts as well as everybody, the comments. You know, we do have a wonderful staff, the administration team, Jeff and his whole team, all the employees. They really are the backbone of the organization, and they make it happen. And again, thanks to Jenny for serving. I know, contrary to common belief, it's not always easy sitting up here. Everybody has a million ideas, but when it's time to actually get involved and make a difference or make a change, everybody's like, whoa, hold on. No, that's not her part of the deal. So I served 3 years previously with Jenny and was appointed to fill a 1-year vacancy this year, and I'm running again. But I think that this board has been very forethought and try to do what's in the best interest of the park in the long term, and not necessarily just in our personal agenda or what interests us in our personal situation today, but they try to look at the long-term best interest of the organization. And if we can continue to do that, that will serve everybody for many decades to come. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. I think it's a true testament how you feel about this park. And it's good to see you guys get the information directly rather than relying on social media for all their stuff. I want to thank our employees, our full-time employees, part-time, seasonal, and all the volunteers we have here. I think you guys do an outstanding job. I also want to thank the board of directors. Contrary to what you read on Facebook, we do hear you guys. And it's a fine balance between keeping this place maintained, keep it compliant, and keeping it affordable. And we make the decisions in the best interest of all of us. And I want to thank Jenny. Jenny, it's been a true pleasure working with you. Good luck. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's amazing how quickly these 3 years have gone by. I thank you for your support. I try to be cognitive of your desires and what you want, and try to put that into what I bring to the board. I too am up for re-election this time, and I hope you take time to vote. Thank you for being here.
We certainly learned a lot about the golf course, didn't we? You know, I love it when we have a subject like that we can all learn together, and that I see so many people that are passionate about protecting our second biggest amenity that we have in the park. So I love the spirited discussions that we've had. The good thing is, whether this particular proposal passes or not, it's great to see people come together because we all have a common ground, and we're going to arrive at that common ground, and we're going to find it. So again, I thanks very much for all the support with that, because that was a lot of work for a lot of people involved. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, board. One last thing for the board. Ginny, we have a nice gift for you for doing 6 years of tour of duty for us. So thank you very much for all that you've done for the county. All right, let's keep rolling here. So some quick thank yous. Again, thank you for everybody for taking the time on a beautiful Saturday to come out. Thanks to the chapel committee for letting us use this beautiful venue again. We're blessed to have this and have them allow us to have this meeting here. thanks to Norm in the back for the sound, and Ian for streaming this and recording it, dumping it out on the YouTube channel. Thanks to the board for all your leadership again this year. We have a great board that supports the membership here as well as staff. Can't say enough about the staff. We'll do some staff introductions here in a second, but they're the backbone of this place. So when you're out and about, you see maintenance crew or the golf crew or anybody in administration, please take time to say thank you, because everything that is good about this place is because the staff helps make it happen. So let's see here, members. Again, thank you for everything that you guys do, committees and support. There's a silent voice out there that continues to support us, and we appreciate that. Social media can be tough, but we know there's more out there that are supporting us and helping us, so thank you for that. We're truly blessed to have a beautiful park here at Sandy Pines, and we want to keep it going for many years to come. That's my charter, my duty to serving you in the park, and I know that's the board's duty, so we're going to continue to try and keep it going. From a staff perspective, we have Ben Fifelski, who heads up our maintenance crew. We have Amanda Griffin, who's our HR. She's 1 year in, over a year in now, so thank you. We have Shannon Dykstra in accounting. She serves all your accounting needs, so thank you for that. Mentioned Ian in the back. He's communications, and again, any accurate source of communications really goes through Ian's department. So you want the real facts and figures and things of that nature, Sandy Pines website, Sandy Pines Facebook page, that's where you get the truth. So we have Larry Finkbeiner from the golf course, and then Larry will introduce Dave as well, Dave Ingalls, who's going to take over for Larry. We did have Janelle here. I think she was helping out with the election. Janelle handles camping and sales, and thought I saw Kent here. There's Kent in the back right there, sitting to try to drum up some sales back there. So thanks, Kent. We did have a couple of new additions this year to the staff. Nicole Milbacher at member service works with Nicole Clean. We try to make it easy for the members. So if you just call member service and ask for Nicole, you get one of them. So and they've done a great job. That we got some feedback that atmosphere up front needed to change a little bit. So we changed it, and positive feedback from the members on that. So they've done a great job this year. Rana Banga in sales, she's been helping with administration. A lot of the to-dos, keeping Kent online with his events, and Janelle from For Sale by Owner. So Rana's new back there. She sits at the front desk. She's done a great job. And Abby Greenfield couldn't make it today. She's weird. She's working in rec, and she's got a bunch of activities going on. So, but she's done a great job, and it's been really cool. I'm 4 years in, so I didn't get to see Abby when she was a little kid, but she's a Sandy Pines kid, went through rec, worked in rec, and now she came back to lead it. And is doing a great job, so we're blessed to have her as well. So typical stuff that I'd like to do is just quickly go through park update with some of the things that we should be proud of that we did this year, some of the things that we think we missed, and then what are we looking for in 2024 and maybe beyond that. So things that we should be proud of, going to continue to beat the drum, but our staff, phenomenal. Board leadership and support of the park, phenomenal. We continue to do that. We continue to be blessed to have those individuals. We had this little project this year, if you didn't know, it was called Spectrum. Okay. When the members voted for that, almost unanimously, because we need internet and we need TV, because we have a lot of remote people working here. They threw a lot at us. The team did a great job setting communications up with Spectrum in the off-season, we met every 2 weeks. We put plans in place. We had effective communication out to the members. If anybody saw our conference room during the season, at the beginning of the season, that was a mini distribution center. We have 2,162 member sites. Almost 1,800 member packages went through that conference room. Team did a great job making certain that you guys got your equipment. If you had any issues, working with you, I've seen countless times. Nicole, myself, somebody from the administration on the phone with a member with Spectrum, trying to service your needs. So that was a huge project, and I think we did fairly well. It wasn't perfect, but I think we did fairly well in implementing that for you guys, and we should be proud of that. We continue to migrate from some old systems to some new systems and get out of paper. A little bit of a bumpy start, but we're getting better, and we continue to do some system updates, portal. Steve continues to walk into my office every day about guest passes, and so we continue to get better throughout the season. As of 2 weeks ago, Steve stopped walking into my office, so I think that one's fixed. So, but the systems continue to be upgraded. This place was run by paper, and we had to get out of paper and into updated systems. One thing that we should be proud of, members might not necessarily see it, but we went to a new HR and payroll system for the staff that was launched flawlessly by Kimberly and Amanda, and it now gives access to our members on their phones, real time. They can see their paychecks, their 401ks, they can do vacations, they can check in remotely. They can't check in from bed, sleeping in, but there's an area where around each station that you can come in, clock in. So that's been a huge benefit to us. One thing that you may have noticed is we brought the country store back and the cafe. Took a little bit to get that cafe up and running. We worked hard with Allegheny County Health Department to get those two things up and running. Ben's team did a phenomenal job. I mean, I can't say enough about that. The stuff that they did during the off season to get that thing up and running and fixed, it was a disaster when it was turned over to us. And they renovated it, they cleaned that thing up, and they did a phenomenal job. Store numbers are through the roof with selling memorabilia, clothes, things of that nature. Just really have done a good job. And then the cafe as well. Really good job there. Took a little bit to get that cafe up and running. I'll just answer one of the writing questions now. Hey, the donuts, the coffee, the pastries, nice, but what's next with that? We do have a couple of people that we're talking to. What I would call back in my old manufacturing days, a stalking horse. One individual is really wanting to take that store over. We're meeting with that individual during the off season. The plan is to bring that back as a restaurant, breakfast, lunch, pastries. It's a really good plan. So now we got to work through those details. So we have two individuals that are interested in it. One that is really in the forefront, and we're going to work with that individual to try and get that thing up and running full service next year. So that's the plan for the cafe. That will not be run by the park. That would be turned over and leased by somebody else. The store will continue to stay in park operations. Let's see here. Rec improvements. We already talked about Abby. She's done a great job in rec. Phase 2 pool. Membership voted overwhelmingly to transfer the funds. Kimberly and I continue to get, hey, if you transfer the funds, where's that money at? We have not transferred the funds yet. We have those in reserve right now when you look at our cash, because if you transfer the funds now into a capital account, and let's say the pool costs $1 million and not 1.5, you can't transfer that money back into operations. It's stuck there. So we've selected a contractor. The pool committee has done a great job with working with that contractor on designs Ben and myself met with the contractor this past Tuesday on site at the Phase 2 pool area. They brought their subcontractors in. They are submitting bids for the subcontractors to start work this off-season. We submitted a corrective action for the current access road. Originally, our original maps, we believe that was not on the drain field. Eagle came in and said it is on the drain field, you gotta get a road off of that. We submitted our corrective action in advance of its due date, and Eagle came back on Thursday, approved that corrective action, that we're moving it off of that old road, we're building a new road which is gonna go right down the middle of that park. So they've approved that. Construction will start to take place, actually, we've had some trees removed already. Tuesday, after Labor Day, we're gonna relocate a site, and then the following week, you're gonna see contractors back there making that new road. So we've done a really good job with the pool. Communications continues to be positive, on time, accurate, ton of feedback with the on the scene. We try to have some fun. I don't know, every weekend I gotta go to Paul Peppel, and are we having a poker run? Because he sells the poker run to everybody, and anytime he's on the scene, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 people show up. It's a good avenue. So maintenance continues to do a great job behind the scenes. The park looks beautiful. We'll talk a little bit going forward. The infrastructure here is over 50 years old, and so we've got to have plans for infrastructure. CCs, we continue to patch roads, things of that nature. We got to start looking at that going forward. Camping and sales are up. We continue to do a great job in those areas. And then finance. Kimberly's leadership is phenomenal. She's got a servant heart for this community, and we're in a strong financial position right now, and we continue to get stronger. Last year, we ended the year around $25.4 million as a business. A lot of members said, hey, we're a campground. But we are a $25 million business. Year to date, current, we're about 26.6 million. So we continue to see growth, and then we continue to maintain that 90 to 180 days cash reserve that our third-party accountants really stress we need to have in case of emergencies. That cash is important. It's not something that we just dole out and spend willy-nilly. We need to make certain that we have that in a reserve for us for emergencies. And speaking of third-party accountants, they met with the finance committee, the board, Kimberly and myself last week, wasn't it? And went through our financials and signed off and said we're in phenomenal shape. So thanks to Kimberly for all of that hard work. We talked about member service, change of atmosphere there, positive feedback. We're not going to stop though, so we're winding down. I can't believe August is here already. Ian will get some surveys out for departments. We do want some feedback. How are we doing? Where can we improve? So those should start coming out sometime in September. What did we miss in 2023? Our lake projects. We had great plans for our little projects. We ran into some roadblocks with some permits and working with the state on some things. Phase 3 well was drilled, didn't meet expectations. We got to come up with a plan B for the Phase 3 well. The dam project, we call that the dam project over there on the main road there. We need to re-armor that or shore that up. It's over 50 years old. We have really good plans for that. That got stalled. We're seeing some headway in that. And if you were at the board meeting last night, Phase 3 is the opening to our lake. That opening is closing. And so I hear a bunch of comments, well, that's Phase 3, we'll let them worry about it. That's all of us, because that's how the water gets into this beautiful lake over here. And if that starts closing, we got to figure out how to prevent that from happening, because then all of us will not be happy as the lake starts going down. So we got to work with the state on that. So those are some things we missed. Let's see. Really, I think we had a great year, other than the lake projects. So we'll talk more about the golf course when Larry and Dave get up here. Future projects, 2024 and beyond. Phase 2 pool is supposed to be open Memorial Day next season. We're excited for that. We talked about lake projects. We can't stop. Our number 1 asset is the lake. Our number 2 asset is the golf course. So that leads me into the golf course. If we're blessed to have people vote yes on this, we continue to get asked, what's the 5-year, 10-year plan, 15-year plan for the golf course? We're in the same spot in 2000 when it was bought. We're in the same spot from 2010, and we're in the same spot from 2015 when the 10-year assessment. And what I mean by that is we've gotten better running the golf course, but if we want to have a membership advantage there, it needs to be treated as an amenity. And in order to be treated as an amenity, we're going to have some sort of subsidizing from the membership. That will not go away if we want to continue to have that as an amenity. The golf course is our number 2 asset. It's not just a golf course. The other thing that's popping up, our 10-year capital reserve. That's right around the corner. People tell me, it's like 4 or 5 years out. That's right around the corner. We need to start planning for that. And a lot of stuff that we've seen is infrastructure. CCs, we continue to get write-ins. Hey, this doesn't work in the CC. We're replacing boilers. We're trying to fix things. Phase 1 pavilion, we still got to figure out a plan for that. That thing is still moving into the lake. Infrastructure around the park is something that we need to really think serious about. And we're gonna need to take a look at what we do with the 10-year assessment coming forward here. So that's going to be a huge project. Other than that, I think we're blessed with a beautiful season. So we still have some work to do, but I think we're on the right path. And it's the best season that since I've been here. Season 4 sounds like a TV show, but sometimes it is a TV show. But season 4, and this is the best one that I've had. So I thank you for letting me lead the park, and I'm blessed to serve this place. So thank you for the kind words and the support for our staff, for our board, for myself. And I'm going to introduce Larry, turn it over to Larry for golf course. You want this? You want a hand mic? Here, yeah, please, take Ellen's.
Hello? There we go. Well, thank you all for showing up, and what a pleasure it is to see everybody out here. Last year, I got a lot of grief because I spoke too long, and they said I spoke longer than Jeff did, so I'm going to try to cut it back this year. They've got a timer going right now to make sure I don't go over. But there's a lot of things I do want to cover and say. First off, it has been a privilege and an honor to have served everybody at the golf course for the last 9 years, and especially the last 2 years. It has been my pleasure and my honor to do that, and I just thank you all for supporting the golf course. It has been a good year. So there's a lot of people I want to thank, starting with the maintenance crew and what the golf course looks like right now. We have more compliments on our golf course again this year, that our course is in great shape. We got new people coming out and playing golf, and they are amazed at what they find here at Lake Monterey Golf. So thanks to the maintenance crew. I want to thank my staff, everyone that has worked hard to make things go well. We've got a good year going on. Our sales were up last year, and they're up again this year, double digits, and it looks like they're just going to continue to go. We have found that there is a lot of potential in the golf course, and we don't think we have tapped everything yet. So we know that we'll continue to grow the golf course. So, and we're just, I'm excited to introduce Dave here in a few minutes. But he's got a lot of ideas too that's gonna help grow our golf course. So we are thankful for that. Volunteers that have volunteered at the golf course, and there's too many to name, but I've had a lot of volunteers, people helping out. I want to thank all of them. We have a new person that has taken over for our superintendent, and who is responsible for the golf course and the condition. That's Keith Biggie, and he is doing an excellent job, and we're excited about what he is bringing to the golf course. So, we've had a few new projects this year. We put a new bridge in. We've got a lot of small projects that we did this year. We've done that you probably don't even notice that we've done. And we've got a couple large projects still coming on the books yet this year. We're tearing down the old shed that's got a lot of electric in it for the well on the back 9. We are putting in a new drain field. So our drain field needs to be replaced. So we are working on those things. And so we're going to get those done. Probably last but not least, I want to thank my wife Peggy again. Thank you, Peggy. She has allowed me 2 years to do this for 2 years as an interim until we found the right person to take over the golf course. And she is the one that says it. She gave me permission to do it. So thank you. I just wish I was younger. I could have done this another 10 years because I have enjoyed it. I truly have enjoyed it. The people that I've met, the people that I've worked with, it is just such a pleasure just to meet everybody. And so with that, I'm going to cut short. I'm going to introduce David. David Ingalls comes to us from Moss Ridge up in Ravenna. He's got a lot of experience on the golf course. He is also a great coach, and he can teach anybody. I mean anybody. I've seen some of the people that he's taught on how to play golf. And if you are not a golfer, this is your man. Within a few swings, he can have you playing golf just like a pro. This is David Ingalls, our new GM.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's all lies. But I appreciate it. My name's Dave Ingalls. I've been here since, I believe I started April 3rd was my first day. And I tell you what, I've had 14 years in the golf industry, 4 as a general manager of golf courses. And by far, my time here has been more enjoyable than any course I've ever worked at. It's such a great experience here. I think probably learning from Larry is probably the highlight. I mean, it's been fantastic. What you guys have had with him for the last 9 years has got to be just incredible. Because what I've seen from him from the time I've been here is fantastic. So, big shoes to fill. I don't expect it to do any better than what he did, but I'm going to try and keep the momentum he's had. I've got some good ideas on some projects and stuff we can do and things golf course wise to bring. My big goal is to get more public play out there. We've seen a pretty good spike in that this year, and I got some plans for that going forward. But yeah, so I'm blessed to be here. He said they found the right person. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it, so they hired me. So it worked out well for myself. Real quick, I do have a wife and daughter. Our daughter's 16. My wife teaches at Greenville Elementary School, elementary school in Greenville. So we live over that way now. We just sold our house and bought a house over that way. So I'm driving a little bit, but it's really close for her. I said I've coached now. I'm going into my 28th year of coaching. 25 of those have been at the high school level, and 3 have been at the college level in basketball. So that's kind of what I do in the off season. It is a passion of mine. And other than that, it's working at a golf course that I love to do with a great staff. The people here, the administration stuff has been absolutely incredible. Just incredible with working with Jeff and the board and the other employees. It makes you feel like family here, which leaving someplace I've been for 11 years is a little scary because I was very comfortable there. But to come here, it's been nothing but a blessing, and I'm so happy to be here. So looking forward to many more years to come. Hoping to see you down at the golf course, maybe even later today. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you.
So this is your time. Member comments, member questions. Go ahead. Yeah. Yep. Name and site number. We've got the mic, hot mic here. So fire away.
Hi.
None?
Hi. My name is Sandy Bogreski, and I'm at K76. And I appreciate all the work you guys do on the board and all the extra time you put in and these meetings and everything else. That's a big commitment and takes you away from your family, so that's very appreciated. And on all the highs that have been going on here, unfortunately, I have a couple things I want to talk about. I owned the place 49 years ago in Phase 3, and we were here just 2 or 3 years, and we lived on the other side of the state, and my husband's job changed, and we couldn't get back and forth, so we sold. And my parents owned the place for probably 35 years. And one of the things that I remember was that if you did not keep your site up, you would be fined, but Sandy Pines would also go in there, they would clean it up and assess you a bill. So, you know, we love doing these scavenger hunts, and in doing those scavenger hunts, you're just driving around the car, you're looking and looking and looking. And there are still so many sites that are in just such disrepair and not being kept up at all. And you can tell that people haven't been there, certainly not this season and maybe many seasons. And as much as, yes, you know, you fine them $100 and they may say, well, that's $100, I don't care, I can pay the $100 and be done with it. But what is Sandy Pines' thoughts on how we're going to actually rectify the situation? Do we give these people a period of time to continue to keep up their site? Is there another assessed fine after that? I don't know whether there's an actual plan in place anymore, but it seemed like it was in place when we originally owned.
Yeah. No, good question. I'll let Kelly from the Rules Committee.
That's been a big topic with the Rules Committee. And the Rules Committee has consisted of 9 different members within the park. And that too has been a big topic that they're trying to address. Going through the current rules, the language in there almost makes it like you say, that you can get a fine and then you gotta wait so many more weeks and then you get another fine and you gotta give them a chance. And by that time, in theory, they could go the whole summer without doing anything and probably pay a couple $100. Well, that's not gonna deter anybody from not doing it. You're exactly right. So the committee has been working on changing the language, or they've been working on making a proposal to bring to us as a board, because they're an advisory committee, they don't change anything. So they're working on the language that would possibly change when the start would be. Right now it's June 10th, so they'd like to move it up a little bit, keeping in mind that we still have a lot of members that come from down south, so they need a little time to get it going. But also change the structure of the penalties, which would, if it's approved by the board, which that would allow the park to take further types of actions, and I don't want to get into it, but it would allow them to act on a more timely basis to address that situation. So it's in the process, and hopefully we have something soon.
Okay. I just feel, you know, sites that go for sale in areas where it's in a bad shape deters a sale. And in that same token, who is responsible for the center circles? Is it the park or the people who live on the circle?
You're talking like
Courts.
in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Courts.
Yeah.
Great question. I think, you know, it depends on the area. Carolyn, you want to answer that?
Well, yeah.
Or what's your comment?
The circle, and it's a big circle, and really it's the people that are there that want to make it look nice. But we can go to the maintenance, and if we ask for, most anything, mostly it's the
No landscaping.
Just ground covers, the ground
Yep,
covers.
yep, ground cover.
And for the 13 years that I put there, our circle, it was a mess. It was a mess. So we planted flowers, but every year, when we ask for something from maintenance, ground covers mostly, they will come, we have to spread it, but they are pretty good at dumping it. So it's basically who lives in that area if you wanted to.
We
And I
have,
think the maintenance because they've done a super job.
so, we do have spots in the park, that our maintenance team can't get to. And so we would let green space area around, but they can't get mowers in there, they can't get tractors in there, things of that nature. So, the members in that area just kind of team together and take care of their spot. If they need help, they reach out to the maintenance team, as Carolyn stated, and they come out and they help with materials or whatever they need. But if it's an area where the maintenance group can't get to, the options are that group take care of it itself, or we can't get to it and we don't want it looking bad. But okay. One other comment on your site cleanup. You know, you hit a couple of things on the head. The scavenger hunt has highlighted, as people have gone around, and I think including some of the board members who have gone on the scavenger hunt, with, holy cow, I can't find that little turtle on the garage that's in this picture, but I found these 4 things that need to be taken care of. Those are coming in, those recommendations are coming in. We're looking at getting the park inspectors some additional help next year, because as that stuff is coming, it has overwhelmed that department. We no longer clean the sites up and then bill those members, because what has happened is the members won't pay that. And then you've got the contractor looking for a payment, and it really shouldn't be the park responsibility to clean up your site. So that practice stopped before I started here. One of the things that I will highlight is when we have seen, I know of 4 this year, where we've actually sat down with those members and said, you're not cleaning your site, you're not here, and you know, we've talked them into basically listing with Kent. And I know 4 that have gone out this year that have been really unsightly sites. That's another avenue that we've tried to, you know, is everything okay? Why are you not here? And they're like, we just can't do it any longer. Then let me introduce you to Kent. And then I know there's 4 of them that we sold this year that they look a lot better now that someone's taking care of it. So that's another avenue we're trying. Okay?
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
This is excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I talked to you just very briefly about this at one of the town hall meetings, and I still don't understand the reasoning. So, boat stakes, huge issue, big topics of conversation. We made sure that we bought a site with a boat stake, and then we bought a boat. We had the boat for 4 years, and we've decided we don't want to have a boat, and we have a boat stake. Now, I don't understand what is involved, and I, wrote up a little document and tried to sit and figure it all out. Why we can't figure out a way to loan or rent our unused boat stake to people who are on this list that have been waiting for so long. My boat stake's sitting empty. I have a kayak registered to it, but I would be more than willing to make that agreement with somebody, in writing with their MC number for their boat, acknowledging that if I were to ever sell my site, then that boat stake would go with it, and the member would know that. But I just feel like it would relieve a lot of tension, because there are probably other people that don't use their boat stake that may also be willing to either loan or rent, however it worked out. Just something to,
So our policy on that is, it's yours, your boat stake, it's yours. If you don't utilize it, you don't want it, you have the opportunity to turn it back in and allow somebody on that list to get it. If we allow members to start renting those things out, the park then, mainly PSO, starts losing control of who's there, who's supposed to be there, who's violating the rules, who's not violating the rules. It's listed in your name, but we got a different boat there. Then if all of a sudden you rent that out, because this happens on a frequent basis on some other things, mainly contractors in the park. Hey, I got a contractor that took money from me, and I'm not getting the service. So the park gets pulled into those kind of, that opens up just a whole can of worms. It's yours, you can utilize it. If you choose not to utilize it and you don't want it, you can turn it in. We're not gonna open it up to, you can rent it, you can transfer it to somebody if you want. But
It's losing value in your site though, nobody really is gonna wanna do that.
I understand that, but we're not gonna get into that bucket of worms with, hey, go rent it, because that loses all kind of control for the park on who's using it, who's abiding by the rules, who's not abiding by the rules. And I know we've had this conversation, I know you don't like the answer.
And I think it can be
I know you don't
solved
like
with
the
a
answer,
very
but that's,
technical sheet.
yeah, so,
All right,
okay?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
What do you mean by transferring?
So, that really happens amongst members. So, I'll give you an example. We've had a member, if a member's in phase 2, their boat stake's in phase 2, and they move to phase 4, and somebody in phase 4 has a boat stake, you can, if you have an agreement, you can do a transfer of those boat stakes, okay? That's what I'm talking about.
It's kind of like a swap.
Yeah,
You can't just
you're
transfer
trading
these.
them. Yeah, you're not selling them. That was another thing. Somebody came in and said, hey, I bought this boat stake from so-and-so. No, you can't do that. Boat stakes are continuing to be a challenge. We'll start working with the park inspector. He went around this entire lake and audited the boat stakes in the off-season. What I mean by audited, we counted them and he physically did GPS locations for them. And we've seen them migrate again this year, where they're supposed to be. So we're gonna give him some help in the off-season, and we're gonna come up with a plan for boat stakes. Okay? Any other questions, comments? Was I?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
About boat stake.
Okay,
Can this be brought up now?
sure. You want me to give you the mic?
I didn't know if we could, I got a boat stake. And I've had for 45 years.
Okay.
But the last 4 years, the guy that's in the park that takes care of everything, I went down to the office and I've went there and my stake is marked and another guy pulled his boat right there, and I go down there 2 or 3 times. I go to the
Public safety.
to the office.
Okay.
Then I go to the where you drive in and tell them, oh, we're gonna, that gal there tells them, I shake. And I tell them, my wife goes down there and tells them, and it don't make a bit of difference.
Okay. So let.
My stake and that guy's boat, his, I got a canoe, a paddle boat.
Okay.
And I paid the same thing as a guy with a big boat. And that don't make a dang bit of difference. I've done it for 45 years, and another guy puts his, he's got a what do you call it?
A pontoon or a dock?
No, he's got a thing on the trailer. he pushes in there right next to mine.
Oh,
And I pay the same thing as he does.
okay.
And my stake has got a number on it, and he don't have nothing.
Okay.
And they don't do nothing about it. I've been there 5 times this year, and nobody comes down there.
Okay. So let me do this, after this meeting, let me get your name and site number, and I will go down with the park inspector, we'll come see you, and we'll
That
figure out
park
what's going on.
inspector is worthless, and the gal in there is worthless.
All right, well, I will come down and see you, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Anything else? Any other questions, comments? Yeah.
I can talk pretty loud.
Okay.
Are there any plans in the new park store to add some essentials like milk, eggs, butter, bread, things that are basic so we don't have to run across the street to Monterey Pines?
Great question. The short answer is yes. In order to get the health department to sign off in the time frame that we wanted, we had to limit our selection. So next year, expansion of the restaurant to a full-service restaurant, that cafe there, and add milk. If you see when you go into the actual restaurant and you get your donuts, you walk in there. This is the health department. Love them to death. We've got a really good relationship with them, but we couldn't sell milk and butter and eggs in the store. But under the license that we have in the cafe, there's a display there where we were selling milk. We didn't bring in eggs or butter. It's how they allowed us to open this year. We're going to expand that next year. Yes. Good question. Yeah.
What about liquids?
What kind of liquids?
Well, everyone knows what kind of liquids we kind of like. But across the street is so pricey. I don't go there anymore. I just have to go to town.
Right.
And I'm not talking liquor, maybe it's beer and wine. That obviously that would help the golf course too. I just want to know if that's going to be something that's in the future that we could do in the general store.
Right. So good question. That's a bylaw change.
Yes.
And in order for that to be a bylaw change, either a board proposal would have to support that, or a member proposal would have to support that with a petition. We took baby steps with getting the bartenders and alcohol served for special events at the North Shore. I think we've proven that at least nothing's come across my desk where those events have been rowdy, unruly. We've got a bunch of inebriated people running through the park, like old school Will Ferrell. But that was baby steps. So we think we can control it there. It's something that we can talk about with the board. Is that something that we want to do? So it hasn't. It's not like it's something that we haven't talked about. We've talked about it off and on. We just haven't been able to make any real decision or have we done that yet. I would love to keep people inside the park because I don't like them crossing that road. But
He's really pricey.
Fair point. That's another, so gentlemen in the audience, that's also a liquor license and a township license, and they don't just hand those out. So that's as we found out with some of the golf course stuff, because at the golf course, we're trying to get a drink cart to go across the street, and that's a separate bar and a separate license to go across the street. It's a little golf cart. Yep, it's a separate bar and a separate license, and we haven't been able to get that approved yet. So, open for discussions. So, we'll see.
We don't know the details.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an open-ended question. I mean,
Yeah.
he said we're working on it.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know that we could have any better pricing, honest, I mean, it's a small, when you're small, I don't know.
I thought you were talking
It's not
about
gonna be
milk
Meyer
when you said
prices.
liquid.
Right? It would have, I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
I'd have to see it.
Okay, any other questions in the,
There's one there.
oh, over here.
Jeff, can you tell me if there's going to be any improvements in the laundromat?
Question is there any improvements on the laundromat? Yes, well, it depends on how you define improvements. Okay, machines that aren't all broke. Actually, this month we have to make a decision on either renewing the contract with Wash, who is the current vendor for the laundromat. We've talked to another one on the east side of the state to try and get some competition here for a quote. Quite honestly, they haven't submitted a quote. All their service would come from the east side of the state. Anybody that runs a business, they look at cost benefit ratios and, you know, their profit margins and things like that. We're on the lower end for what their expectations are, making profit and servicing a company. So we more than likely, hopefully Wash isn't seeing this right now, but we're more than likely gonna have to re-up with Wash. In the contract, they will provide all new machines, if we sign that contract. The question on the contract is really three things. I think right now it's like $3.50 for a load. They wanted to go north of $5. We're trying to keep them down $5 or under. They want a 10-year contract, which is what we have now. And what we've seen, at least, again, on season 4, and we're at the end of that contract, what I've seen at the end of the contract is, as they get to the end of the contract, they don't care about maintenance on those until you sign a new contract. So we want to shrink the term from 10 years to about 5 years, to keep them in the game with making certain that they're continuing to maintain the maintenance of those machines. So we're gonna have to make a decision here before the end of the month. Then you will see new machines come in. Whether we go with Wash or somebody else, they would bring new machines in. And we have gotten a better maintenance schedule from Wash with, here's what's gone wrong. They've tried to repair them when we've highlighted that these machines in these areas need to be replaced. 2 years ago, we highlighted those, and they were flat out, we're not replacing anything unless you sign a contract. So, okay, good question. All right, yes, sir.
On the Wash subject, are you gonna do something about the internet that is in all the laundry facilities? Because when you have the app, sometimes without having internet, you can't always get those apps to work.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, we're gonna have to update the internet there. I gotta work with Steve DeArmond, who's our IT guru here, and our third-party IT company to try and update those. Any company, like you guys are sitting down, but any company that has wanted or quoted this business, Wash, or the one on the east side of the state, they are completely, everybody's going coinless. So no coins, nothing. So you're either gonna have to buy a prepaid card where you can scan it on the actual machine, or you're gonna have to get an app and pay for it on an app that way. Everybody is going completely coinless. So, and that's something else we need to talk about. All right, in the back, and then I'll get you, and those are, oh, and then, all right, so we got 3 questions, we're a little bit over, we're gonna take these last 3, and then for the write-in questions, I think we hit a lot of them, we hit boat stakes, we hit the store, we hit some of the other stuff. If I missed the write-in questions, I will do our normal process, I will email our answers out to the actual member and then copy the board on it, so, yeah, go ahead. Yep.
You mentioned roads, could you elaborate on what's going forward, because there are portions in this park that aren't even drivable. Is there money being put aside, is there plans?
Yes, so the question is roads, can we elaborate on what's the plans for the roads? Every budget, so like this last budget that we just approved last night at the board, we go through the capital, there's a dollar amount allocated for the roads throughout the park. And if you go through phase 5, right, that area, I think Ben's team had to do multiple things there. I think we had water lines and things of that nature. So if there's a large project like that, then we want to try and hit the road at the same time, rather than just do some of these patches. So there is a method to the madness. We do have funds allocated every year to do road improvements.
But specifically like from the horseshoe pit to the dairy dip, you might as well be driving a wagon train.
Yeah.
It's not drivable. And from the racetrack to the four-way stop sign is the same way. So why can't we concentrate on the worst parts going
So
forward?
that area, fair point, but the area where we were looking at around the dairy dip, just in transparency, we were hoping that that South Shore was gonna get approved, and we were gonna relocate that entire road. We were gonna completely do that road. That didn't happen, so now we gotta put that back on the plan as to what are we gonna do in that area. So, we can take a look at those. Yep, absolutely. Carol?
I'll try to make it quick. I don't go on Facebook very often, but this morning, Mark, I don't know his last name, he put some postcards on, which were absolutely fantastic, gold postcards of there was one that, the answer kind of disturbed me of a person writing in. It was about our sandy pine bushes, and, she said something about that you can't cut them because they'll be dead, and it was going on really didn't. 9 years ago, we, the bushes needed cutting, and we had a group of volunteers at the time, we cut these bushes down. Yes, at first when you cut them, they look a little, no, not ugly. No, they're trimmed, and so you're gonna have to wait for the new growth to grow on the bare branches. Well, this woman person on the page, they said, well, we either have to, they can't be cut because they'll kill it, or they have to be pulled up. That scared me because, when Gene was here, and he was thinking about pulling those out, and then we had a person from the environmental, talking about the dam.
Yep.
And they said those cannot be pulled out because the roots are, even though they're across the street from the dam, those roots are really stabilizing that dirt. And so, Ben, I know that you're very, very busy, and if we could get a volunteer, which we did 9 years ago, maintenance help, and brought in the truck, we had probably a dozen people cutting their own selves, cutting bushes, and, I don't know how long they've been, I don't wanna say neglected, how long they haven't been trimmed, because it's, maintenance is, they're busy.
They get trimmed every 2 years.
Every 2 years, so they're due to be trimmed,
Next year. They were
Yeah.
last spring, last fall.
they're really growing together, but anyway,
They really need to move.
Removed. So it's removed.
They can't be, according to the environment that they're holding, those root systems, if they're removed, you're disturbing all that dirt, and that's going to weaken.
That's not the same information I was getting, because they're worried about rodents getting in there.
Yeah, so we get two different answers on that one. To Ben's point, when we go through that inspection, there's two things that pop up during the inspection. That tube that's under there is gonna need to be replaced in a year or two. So we gotta figure out what to do with that. And then the bushes. Two thoughts to that is, to your point, those roots kind of hold that dirt together, but so does all the grass on there. So the other thought process on the bushes, again, glad everybody's sitting down, they have to be removed because the roots are actually going into the dam, allowing rodents to get in there, which weakens the dam. So we have to, yeah, and they're going into that backside of the dam, which is, you're talking the Sandy Pines bushes? Yeah, yep, so that's the back side of the dam. Those roots are going into the back edge of that wall of the dam, which is allowing rodents to get in there, which burrs holes into there, which weakens the dam. So, I'll invite you to all the state meetings.
Refer them to the Facebook page.
Yeah, right. All right, there was one in the back. James, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. 2023 has been a phenomenal year. Appreciate the staff and everybody for all the hard work and their golf course and everything. Look forward to the future and all that stuff. I just had one thing for the board in regards to rules and access. This year, kind of brought up a good point is designated golf cart parking for very where should people park or not. If you look at page 4 behind the tennis courts, cars are parking back there now. Other golf carts, but it doesn't seem, there's no signage, there's no nothing. And then if you look at page 5, it says walkway, but it's really super wide, and then there's railing, you can park golf carts and stuff. So the question is that really a walkway, is that golf cart parking? You know, there's a lot of confusion going on, some people are kind of getting either talked to or whatever about it, so I think it's something that we can work on together to improve that for all of our members, and eliminate some confusion, so that's my suggestion.
No, good point. Thanks, James. All right, we were 10 minutes over. I know, I apologize. We were half an hour over last year, so improvement. So again, thank you for coming. We're blessed to have this park. Go do your diligence and vote. Polling station's open until 2. Thank you, have a blessed day. Appreciate it.